than to try to repair on the back end. Like, it's like,
I just don't know how people can live life that when it comes to business, when it comes to relationships, you know, whether you're dealing with family, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, what it's like, I can't. It's gonna come out eventually.
Right.
Why don't we just start, like, that's how I do my presentation. It's like, we're gonna do 2 or 3 things today. We're gonna go over your life insurance.
Right.
You know, we're gonna go over some benefits. We're gonna go over options for you to make a purchase today, and it's gonna cost you money.
right.
And if
And
that
if
doesn't
they
make
say
sense,
then
I'm out.
That's what you asked me early on in this podcast, like, in, you know, aside from like the callers and stuff like that. My appointments are so short, like unbelievably short. Like I'm showing options in 10-15 minutes.
You have to.
Like, insanely quick.
People have their mind made up in the first minute. People don't realize, and then it's just your job to kind of guide and sort through and kind of enlighten them. But they're people, within the first minute, you've either sold it. You can kind of tell. You know what I mean? With any relationship or engaging with someone, you can tell in the first minute if they're bought into you. Yeah. And if they're gonna pretty much make a decision.
And that's, you know, it and then it's interesting because how long is that, you know, encounter or that relationship? How long is it gonna last? But like, it's, you know. Yeah. Sometimes people come into your life for only a short amount of time. You only talk to one person once and you'll never see them again. Or, you know, you meet one person and you know them the rest of your life. Yeah, facts. You know, and the level of impact is more than you could have ever imagined. Like, that's like how, you know, when I met Simon, like, no way in hell did I ever think that one conversation was going to lead to everything that I've experienced and everything that I've learned throughout my time here. Like, I don't view this as a career. I don't view this as a job. Like, it's a life. Like, it's my life, you know? And at first, like, I was attracted to the money. It was, you know, young people making a bunch of money, but the amount that I've learned through this experience is more than
Yep, so we got another episode of Adversity Kings. I got our special guest here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good to be back.
Yep, go ahead and tell them who you are.
Well, if you haven't seen our first episode together.
Yep, this is Mr. Rogers.
No. My name is Sam.
Yep, and that's it.
Yeah. No, Sam Marzula.
Yes.
That's me.
Dope. Well, that's all I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, it was a good podcast.
So let's just kind of jump into how's everything going so far this year.
Good. Everything's real good. When did we do our last podcast? That was back in...
We did one of the first episodes. Our underwater episode we did had to have been December or January.
Yeah. I remember I think it was November of last year.
Yeah, I can look it up real quick.
I remember I flew from Florida to come here.
Yep, let me check my vault here. Yep, check my sort by oldest. Yep, least popular. Let's look here.
Was I one of the first?
Yeah, you had to have been. I thought you were. Yeah, you were episode 9, and it was 7 months ago. That would have been December.
How many episodes have you done so far?
Yeah, about 1,000. No, we probably have another 5 plus already pre-recorded, plus this one, and our last one was 68, I want to say. Yeah, 68, so 68 plus 5 is what, 73 plus this one, so probably 74. And then we probably got another 5 scheduled.
Yeah.
So we'll be at about 80 probably in the next couple months. Simon's coming out to get on with Brian Chazier. And yeah, and young Crivelli's coming out. I don't know if I'll get him on again after he got expelled from the military. So
he's coming out end of the month.
Yeah, he's coming down here. We're gonna take him out, have a good time. So how long are you staying out here?
Tomorrow, leaving tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yep, just in and out, quick trip.
So are you going anywhere else this month?
L.A. on Wednesday.
How long are you gonna be out there?
6 weeks. No. I'm kidding. No, I'll be out in LA. I leave Wednesday and then I'm flying back Monday. So for a couple days.
Do you have anything special planned? Anybody you meeting up with?
Yeah, just go. I don't know. Just going to hang out, relax, and probably go get something to eat. A bunch of different restaurants. Go to Nobu.
Which have you been to the Nobu in Chicago?
No, I've always wanted to go to that one.
Yeah. Is the Nobu you go to in LA? Does it have a rooftop?
I've been to. There's 3 in LA. There's there's downtown LA. There's Nobu, Malibu, and then Newport Beach. I've been to all of them. They don't have any rooftops.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yep.
So what's your favorite restaurant in LA?
Favorite restaurant in LA? Honestly, I gotta say probably Nobu, Malibu. Yeah.
So has LA been your favorite place you've traveled so far?
Yeah. Out of any place in the world, that's
LA still.
Yeah.
Despite all the homeless people.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see a lot of. I mean, they're there, but you don't you're not running into them all the time. But yeah, since our last podcast, but yeah, I mean everything's been good, but LA is I'm going there to take a couple days.
There's a homeless person that lives here at my house too.
I know. I saw him in the bathroom.
you were
inspecting him,
dude. I get up, and this is the second day in a row where I got up and went to check that center bathroom that everybody can use, the universal unisexual bathroom, and and it's locked at 5 a.m. and then there's just some dude.
Does it unlock?
He's just nodding in the parking lot. He's high as fuck. And I'm just I guess that's who I share this place with.
Yep. He's in your bathroom.
Yeah, he was nodding off yesterday morning, just doing that dope nod. And I was like, oh, God. Just hope.
When did you move into this new office?
Oh, we moved in probably... Aiden, when did we move in here? January? No. Actually, probably 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago.
Officially moved in 2 months ago?
Yeah, 2 months ago. Because when the time it came out, yeah. Close to, almost 2 months ago, to the date almost, probably. Yeah.
Cool.
What's the best thing that's happened so far this year?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like this year, when we had our last podcast, it was this... it was right before this year was gonna start, and I had some pretty big things that I wanted to do this year, and just just been doing them, just been working, and it's cool to have my life just going good.
Bunch of jingle.
Yeah, bunch of jingle.
Yeah, all mine's gone.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I'll stay here, look at my flag.
Yeah, just sleep in the podcast studio.
Just keep going to work. It'll work out.
But,
so, yeah, I mean, what, you've made $150,000 something so far this year?
Close to, yeah.
This will be your best income year.
Yeah.
Yep, that's dope. And then renewals, what are they at now? 2, 3, 4 grand?
Consistently, 3,000. Yeah.
Nice. 3,000.
It's nuts though, because I remember going into this year, and it all happens so quick. Everything just your whole life can just change in a couple months, and it did.
What do you think the biggest thing that's helped you, go as fast and as big as you've done this year, if you had to give it to one thing outside of mindset, because that's obvious?
Yeah, I think for me this year, I was so out of the zone last year, and I wasn't myself the past 2 years, so it was to be back to who I was, who I am, that was the main thing, just being disciplined, just going to work, just loving it. Yeah. Nice. It wasn't there for me, there's no really big mindset thing. It was honestly just me being myself again.
Yeah, but do you feel like a technical thing that you could apply would be the callers?
Oh yeah, I mean,
you're coming in every day probably with 15, 20 appointment sets. And you can spend most of your time in a profitable zone, which would be you presenting.
Right.
Because we sell insurance, we don't call insurance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to call into the appointments, but
right.
I feel as if like how you can really multiply somebody's value to your organization in our industry with life insurance, it's going to be how can you spend the most time in the most profitable areas, which is it's either selling insurance or acquiring new talent, getting new people like yourself in the doors.
And then one of the biggest things that I've found, and I've always told people this year, is you got to delegate the stuff that can be delegated, like calling, for example. Like this year I'm only selling life insurance. So it was, you said it, like my time has to be spent in the moments of where I can sell life insurance, not setting up times to do that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Just outsourcing. And that was one of the biggest things for me this year, is just in terms of just writing the amount of business that I've written so far this year, is just having that.
Do you rotate callers, or because what I've found in the past was callers burn out.
Mm-hmm.
So like, do you rotate them? Did you have to hire new ones? Did you just have to pay them more? Like, how do you keep callers consistently going? So
right now I only have one caller. And I talked about this a while ago when I talked on Cash Money. Like, you got to find individuals. I think the best callers are the people who were previous agents. Because they know the entire game. Yep. They know how to sell life insurance. And if the client is asking them a question, they can answer it. They're just not, they know what they're talking about. So at the beginning of the year, I had two callers that were both previous agents. And they just solely called for me. Yeah. The one I knew was going to be part-time. He's doing his own thing for like the summer. And then once the winter months come around, then him and I are going to start to work again. But my main caller, she's incredible. Like, she makes a ton of calls during the days, like texts the appointments, everything, like confirms everything. Like, she is the best caller I've ever had in my entire career here. So she's been a huge help with that. But I treat the callers like, I say like an essay, for example, like a supervising agent. Like, just make sure I pay them good. I'm talk to them like friends with them. That's like the main thing, is they're not just like callers. Like, they're my good friends.
Yep. Well, what's her contact info?
I'll give it to you after the podcast.
Yep. So what's been the worst thing that's happened so far this year? Like, what do you think's been the hardest thing?
That's a good question. Honestly, the hardest thing is just being in the office every single day.
Monotonous? Is it just old?
Yeah, like it's just, you've seen the movie Click?
Yes.
Like it's just like I feel like I'll just like skip to certain chapters in my life. That's why I enjoy travel so much. That's why I wanted to come out here. That's why I'm going to LA, is because like that honestly is the hardest thing, is just 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Just in the same spot doing the same thing. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
But it is, you need a little bit of a break from it. That's why when we would sell in person, I loved that, because it was a different city. Yeah. It was a different place. We'd go down to Florida for a month. And we'd, after the day was over, we'd go out, get something to eat.
Yeah, you always did eat Popeyes all that whole time.
Yeah, we always did eat that when we were down in Memphis.
Yeah, you always did eat Popeyes everywhere we went.
But
remember when you called me? I don't know what had happened. Was it some like big black dude was like yelling at you?
When in Memphis? It was in Florida. Yeah,
like,
yeah. It was like a 9 p.m. appointment or something. And that's when, because I remember when I first started, I wasn't persistent in appointments. And then you told me, you were like, you got to be more like, aggressive with individuals. Yeah, like just don't take no for an answer. And I was like,
then you like literally took that to heart.
Right.
I would get calls and they'd be like, he's here, he won't leave.
Right. Yeah. And that was that one appointment. And this girl, I was just not taking no for an answer. And she called her brother down, and he comes like marching in, and I was like, all right, this is Time to go for me. This is a no sale.
Yep. Just like you did to that old lady Barbara.
Yep.
Then there was that crazy family that wanted me to hook up with their hillbilly dollar, and
we had to take her out to the Hard Rock Cafe. She ended up canceling. I went back, rewrote it.
Yeah, we know what you did for that.
But no, I always enjoyed that. Like that, I will always remember those months in that 2019. I'll always remember that year because we had a blast.
It was probably one of the best years.
Yeah, we went down to Florida. We'd go on these road trips and. We just we just have fun and
Olivia and Alexis
just write a bunch of business. So now, I mean, that I would say that's the hardest thing is just same place every single day.
So so for you, it's just strategically setting up in advance. Like your vision is like just like the micro, to an extent, like a micro reward system of like every quarter.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go out and just spend a couple weeks just bouncing around different places.
Yeah, and even like. For me, I would go. I mean, we can work from anywhere now, so that's a cool part. So I would go down to Florida and work, and like that was always. I would recommend that is to
change your work setting.
Yeah, go somewhere, do it. Work different somewhere.
Yeah. Dope.
But that's what I would say is for me that's been the most difficult thing this year is just same thing every day, same place.
What do you look forward for next year? What are you hoping to accomplish? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go?
I've been selling insurance for so long. Like for years. And I love it. But I think for me it's going to be I'm going to transition out of this and then start to build a team and
yes,
get into that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The good old leadership.
Yep.
Do you have anybody in mind that you want to like start to get under your deal? Like somebody that you're going to reach out to and be like, "Hey, look, come in."
I honestly, I don't have any like personals, nothing. It's going to be all like.
You're going to have to start a TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah. All from the ground up. So, but it's nuts because time goes so quick. Like I remember when we were doing this podcast before this year and. It's nuts that it's 8 months in.
Yeah.
8 months, 9 months has passed.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. What do we always say? The days are long, but the years go fast.
Yeah.
It's like you blink and a couple years are gone.
Crazy fast.
But it feels just like yesterday. It was like we were down in Tallahassee, just fucking two of us. Mm-hmm. And then overnight, now it's hundreds of us.
It's crazy. It honestly is. And I think about this a lot where, when I met Simon, the longer that I'm here, the more in awe that I am of that conversation that him and I have had.
Yeah.
Like so much has come from that single conversation.
Yep. You were like, is that your tractor out there?
When I met him, like, never in a million years did I think that single conversation would lead to so much.
Where'd you get that tractor?
I was in college and I just went up to him and I was like, I feel like I need to talk to you. So I talked to him. And then here I am.
So what places are you going to this year that you have never been before?
Traveling? I'm trying to think. Have I been anywhere this year that I haven't been before? This year I haven't been anywhere that I haven't been before, but in December booked a trip to Thailand, so I'm going to there.
So, where are you going over there?
Well, I don't know. I fly into Phuket, but I don't know where I'm staying. I don't know what I'm doing. I still need to, because I fly from LA to Singapore to Thailand, so I still got to get a flight from Pittsburgh to LA, and my flight leaves the 23rd of December from LA. It's an 18-hour flight from LA to Singapore. So I get there Christmas Day, and then I have a 3-hour flight from Singapore to Thailand. But that's the kind of travel that I like, though.
You don't?
No, I love that kind of travel where it's like I don't know what's going to happen. Like that's another thing, like, talking about how quick time goes. You never know what's going to like show up into your life. Like after we got back from Vegas for convention, I didn't know I was going to Thailand. I just went on my computer and just booked a trip to Thailand.
Yeah.
Like there was no planning. Like I decided I was coming here 2 days ago.
Yep.
Or like yesterday or something, I love that spontaneous travel and unplanned and just leave it up, like what's going to happen.
Like when you and your dad took the caravan out for across the states.
Yep. Took it across the states. Went to Vegas.
So now, do you think next year you'll go to any big place like a Thailand trip?
I once a year I want to try to go on some big international trip. Like
I would go to Australia.
Yeah.
That's where I would go.
I think after Thailand, I'm thinking Greece or Dubai. I've always wanted to go to Dubai.
Chosen went to Dubai. Coolest things in Thailand. Yeah, that one kid that works here, he went to Dubai.
When did he go?
I think like January or February.
Mm-hmm.
He like ate in a roller coaster, like the sky. There was like a hanging restaurant.
Yeah.
It was kind of scary.
They have crazy stuff there.
Thailand looks the coolest things to do in Thailand. Go island hopping in Thailand.
Mm-hmm.
There's over 300 islands.
And December is the best time to go. The winter is the best time to go because right now it's their monsoon season.
This is cool. You would do this. Get a sakyan tattoo. Get a souvenir that will last a lifetime. A sakyan tattoo is a traditional Thai tattoo done by a monk with a metal rod.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
I've thought about that too, like getting a tattoo in every country that I've been to because I have.
Oh, you got to do this.
What? Ride a tuk-tuk.
Ride a tuk-tuk.
It's an Asian version of a cab.
Riding a tuk-tuk in Thailand is a must and a blast.
And a blast.
They're more common than taxis and typically cheaper depending on your negotiating skills. Always set a price before.
That's the other thing is once you get there, it's insanely cheap. Insanely cheap.
Oh yeah, dude, has to be. Watch a Muay Thai fight. Take a street food tour.
That's the other thing is I'm there from I land the 20th.
Yeah, how long are you there?
I land the 25th and then I leave the 5th of January, so 10 days.
Wow.
But it's an 11-hour time difference.
Yeah.
They're 11 hours ahead of us.
This looks cool. Visit the White Temple in Chiang Rai.
I'll be in southern Thailand.
The temple was purchased by a local artist who spent 40 million baht. Dude, this reminds me of when you first started and you were in Paris, and the time difference, and it would be like 2 a.m. my time or 2 a.m. your time and like 2 p.m. my time or something like that. Yeah,
I was 6 hours ahead of you.
Yeah, that was nuts. So, you think L.A. will still? I mean, I guess you won't know until you go to Thailand. So yeah, I guess you won't know if L.A. will still be your favorite spot.
It's interesting that you say that because it's out of anywhere that I don't know what it is about LA. Like maybe it's just because I've spent so much time there and I have like such a lot of good friends there.
The convenience.
Yeah, like a lot of good memories, and it's just. But still, honestly, like overall,
that water hamster company you worked for.
Out of any place in the world, it's still my favorite. Honestly, like that's the most beautiful city I've ever been to was when I was Venice,
Arkansas.
No, I don't think I've ever been to Arkansas.
Oh.
I remember when you wanted me to drive that truck down there, and I said no.
Hey, I know you like driving.
What do you mean, no?
I know you like driving.
But yeah, no. Venice. Venice is the most beautiful city, and the most beautiful city I've ever been to.
Is that the one where you fell into the?
Yeah. I was. I did a kayak because Venice. There's no roads in Venice. You have to walk in Venice, the whole city.
There's not scooters.
There's no roads. It's all you can only walk in the city because it's built.
There's no bikes.
I mean, you can bike, but it's also kind of hard to bike because there's bridges everywhere. I didn't see anyone biking in Venice, but you take a train or a car to the city of Venice, and then it's just like this maze of just walkways, and it's beautiful. I swear to God, it's the most beautiful city I've ever been to. It's unreal.
Have you ever been to the Colosseum?
No. I've been to Italy twice. I went to Milan and then I went to Venice. So I've only been to the northern part of Italy. But Venice is by far the most beautiful city I've ever been to. But yeah, so I was in Venice and I I did like a kayak tour at night on the canals of Venice, which was sick. It was crazy. And as I'm getting out of this kayak, like you had to like grab onto this rope or whatever, and like I don't know, you know how uncoordinated I am. So I just slipped and fell into the canal, and I had everything on me. I had my passport, I had my wallet, my phone charger, my phone, everything. And all these people, they're like laughing at me and stuff, and I'm like, fuck. So
we're laughing in Italian.
No, there were people from Alabama there on the tour.
Yeah.
So but it's funny that you bring that up, because the coolest moments like during my travels, are really like in life in general, I think, come from like just the unexpected, like the shit that goes wrong.
Yeah.
You know, because here's what happened. So that was a cool experience, going through the canals on a kayak at night. It was beautiful. But after I fell out of this kayak into the water, so my phone died, ran out of battery, and the tour guide, you know, it was like a 40-minute walk back to the train station. And there's no way in hell that you're going to find your way back to the train station in Venice without a GPS, because it's like a maze. So, you know, I'm standing there soaking wet, and our tour guide, super cool dude, he was practicing for like rowing. Like after he would do these kayak tours, he would go practice like rowing, like a rowboat. So he said, you know, like you're not gonna find your way back. So I was like, yeah, you're right, because everything, I was soaking wet, it was freezing. So he took me on this rowboat. He said, just come with me. I go on these rowboat things, you know, after a kayak tour. So he takes me on this rowboat through the canals of Venice in the middle of the night, and there's no one. And like during the day, the canals are packed. There's boats everywhere, because that's either you're walking or you're on the water to move around, to transport. But he took me on his rowboat, like his normal route or whatever, and there was no one on the water, like no one in the canals. And I remember there's like this main canal through Venice, and we came out, and there was no boats there. Usually it's packed.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. Like that was one of the highlights of the trip, was just being out there, and it was just cool. Like in the middle of the night, just the only boat out on the main canal in Venice. It was just, I don't know, like it was cool to see that.
Now, were there fish in that water?
I don't know. I wasn't.
Is it smell? I heard the water is shitty.
I mean, it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was like super clean, but it was, you know,
like,
I mean, I wasn't like swimming in it. I just fell in and got out.
Completely submerged.
Yeah, like up to my neck.
Yeah,
like,
so like,
yeah,
you weren't itchy.
And it was like mid-September too.
Yeah.
So it was cold.
You weren't like.
No.
I swam in a creek once, like by our high school.
Yeah.
I was like, itchy, dude. It was horrible.
Yeah, the water that I was in, I wasn't in it for long, but I got out and I was just covered head to toe, and yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
but again, so that's like one of the coolest things, you know, that I get to say, that I was on the canal in the middle of the night with no other boats in Venice, and it's super cool. And then just like these moments like during travel that I get to experience, like I remember when I was on top of the Eiffel Tower, like looking, you know, over Paris. That was sick. I remember when I was in Iceland, looking at this erupting volcano, like that was crazy. I remember when I saw the Northern Lights in Iceland. I remember my friend and we got lost on this beach in Iceland. It was like 3 a.m. We went to a crash plane, and we got lost on the way back. We couldn't, you know, we were out there for like 2-3 hours trying to find our way back in like the middle of the night. You know, just like these moments of
fucking polar bear comes out.
Yeah, I've never seen a polar bear in Iceland. I don't know if there are any.
Nah, there probably isn't. I don't.
Iceland is green. Greenland is ice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many people don't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that.
No, I knew that. So, what about...
Where's the favorite place you've been?
The Office.
Travel. You can't say that. You really,
I don't like traveling.
Oh my God, you love travel.
Nah, I don't like travel.
Yeah, you do.
I don't like travel.
You loved Los Cabos.
No, I didn't.
You love that wooden soaking tub.
Yeah, well, that was in my office at the time. It's a portable office. Wherever I go, I obviously use that room. I didn't leave the room. I'd only leave the room for the meetings.
Nuh-uh.
I would go back. Ask Simon. Anytime we travel, I
were
stay
at
in
the pool.
Room. I hate going to the pool. I only go to the pool to get a picture. I go to the pool to get a picture and get snacks.
I remember when you didn't tag the location. I had to. Yep.
That was a nice resort. That was the Nobu Resort.
I know. It looked sick.
We walked. I like go into my room. Already have like there's like desserts laid out, and I was like, oh god, I'm definitely gonna just be cheating out here. And the only thing that was annoying was like every 30 minutes, some Spanish lady is popping in. It's like, hola, you need a cleanie? And I'm like, no, dude, like I'm naked. I don't need. You just cleaned. You just came in here and cleaned 30 minutes ago. Like I'm like they open up to like talk. Hello. Yeah. I'm like, hello. But I'm naked.
I've stayed at like places like that, and I love the two opposite ends of the spectrum of travel, like super luxury, and then like I also like roughing it too. Like
now there was a drastic difference outside of the resort. It was resort luxury as hell, and then immediately outside of the resort, it's extreme like almost third world country poverty. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, ew, you know what I mean? That's a large difference. Now we did go out of the city once to a luxury restaurant or out into the city once or something. Simon took me and Nat out there, and it was so dope.
I remember
it was a restaurant carved into the hills over the water there. I don't know what ocean that would be. That would
be the Pacific because you were on Cabo.
They didn't let us on the beach, which kind of sucked because I wanted to go out there. And we saw whales breach, which was kind of crazy because it was like, how the hell did we see them from that? Like people had great pictures of like this fat ass whale just like just popping up.
Yeah.
And but they had a black flag on the beach. They were like, it'll suck you in. I was like, what the is it a tornado, dude? Like,
well, when I was in Iceland I've never seen bigger waves than on the beach in Iceland. Like waves that are like they would immediately take you out into the ocean. Immediately. They were huge, massive.
Does anybody out there surfing them?
I didn't see any. But yeah.
Now that would be something cool. I would do that. I'd learn how to surf.
I've really never had an interest in surfing, but
I would like to like snorkel, see like some sea turtles.
Yeah.
Coral. I would do that.
That'd be sick.
You haven't done that? I feel like that'd be like an easy.
No. I've never done like scuba diving.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
What about? Have you been to Bahamas?
I've been to the Virgin Islands. Is that in the Bahamas? I think. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I've been to one Virgin Island, the St. Croix.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a depression trip for sure.
Did you even enjoy that trip?
Yeah, I did. It was, to think back at that time and like to the amount of travel. I mean, that's all I did was that's all I was doing was traveling.
Look at me. I am the captain.
Yeah, it was. If you were on the coast, you were fine. But if you were in the center, it was kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
But it was a good trip. That was cool. It was a super small island. It took like 40 minutes to drive to one end of the island.
So what's your favorite restaurant right now? Is it still that Nobu place in LA? Or
anywhere in the world?
Let's go with America first. Napa Prime.
Honestly, I mean, there's this one restaurant that I went to in Vegas. It was a steak, Prime 88, I think, or something.
Prime 44?
No, it was in Vegas. It was in the Palms.
Did you go Brody?
No. That was one of the best. That comes to mind first.
Yeah.
It was a steak place, and then there was a Mexican restaurant that I went to in the Aria, which was insane. That I don't know, for some reason that.
Have you been to RPM Seafood in the city, Chicago?
I don't think so.
That's That's my best.
That's your favorite in Chicago or anywhere?
In America.
Yeah.
And I've had it. That's the one thing I like is trying out the best foods. And RPM seafood. I want to try Gibson's Italia. They're down in the city too.
Mm-hmm. This one Greek place I went to down in Miami, they had incredible food. That was really good.
That's one place I would go is Greece.
Yeah.
Like I always see pictures of Santorini from people in our company. They go there. They love going there.
Mm-hmm.
I would go there.
Yeah.
For like a day, maybe an hour.
I've always wanted to do that, like just fly somewhere for dinner and then fly back.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be dope.
But
I want to have like a luxury dinner in the air, like a jet. Like a nice, like, this is actually really good.
Yeah, I want to shower in a plane.
Yeah.
I think that'd be sick.
Yeah. I want to do jiu-jitsu in a plane.
You could, I mean, if you get a big enough plane.
Yeah, we'll probably Air Force One, choke out Joe Biden.
Yeah. We'll get Joey up there.
So, have you gotten any new tattoos over the last 7 months?
This one.
So what's that mean to you?
Just I think it's easier to wish good upon someone or wish, but it's a whole different thing to actually help and be there for someone.
Yeah. So action.
Yeah.
Action over words and intentions.
But the tattoo, it says the hands that help are holier than the lips that pray.
Would you say that that's like the most, maybe not most motivational piece, but the most heartfelt piece that you've held on to this year? Like from everything you've read, shared.
Yeah. I think what
resonates with you most this year?
The most meaningful tattoo that I have is the Corinthians. Just,
What Corinthians do you have?
13, love.
Yeah. So not regarding tattoos, just from everything you've learned this year from your studies of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What's been the most meaningful saying, philosophy, teaching that you've come across this year? What can you really feel like you've applied and it's really helped you and you really love it?
It's more I feel like as time goes on and I've been thinking about this lately, the more that we live life, it kind of goes from it goes from a micro to a macro.
Yeah.
Like you start to it's cool because I'm seeing the bigger picture, like in life in general. Like, the things that I thought were big or a huge issue or whatever, it's just becoming part of the picture.
Yeah, I tried to tell you that.
Yeah. 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 So I don't know, like it's like things change. Like it's always, you think, you're here 1 second, then you're over here the next second. It's always evolving.
The only
it's
thing
always
that
changing.
never changes is change itself.
Right. That's the only thing that's constant.
What's going to be the next tat?
I don't know. I got to come across like something that is meaningful, something that just strikes me.
Mine's going to be a sleeve.
No, are you actually going to get a sleeve?
Yeah, but I'm going to wait until we're at 200,000 a week. So here's my sleeve concept so far.
What do you what's the agency doing consistently now?
So we are on pace, even though we've been down the first 5 or 6 months. Just off this last month, we're on pace to have 10% growth this year, and so we're back up to, I would imagine, 75,000 a week. So getting to that 200,000 is basically we just have to double our leader count, and we kind of went about it the wrong way in the beginning of the year by putting pressure on MGAs and just having small MGAs and expecting the vessel to flow downward. Opposed to, honestly, the best way to really approach this is just promote a bunch of essays, a bunch of supervisors, because they're responsible for bringing in new people, opposed to an MGA can almost just take accountability for all of the, leadership count, growth, whatever, whereas the essay promotion. So that's kind of our immediate focus right now, and that's helped us, and we got a good pipeline. So things are looking decent, 75,000. We did I think we did 500. Yeah, we did right under 500,000 net just this last month.
For July?
Yeah, for July. So we averaged 120 in July, so we'll see. We'll see how we transition.
What would you say throughout from 2018 till now, what would you say is the number one thing that you've learned?
That's a really good question. So it's hard to I like to categorize things, so it's like whether it be love, relationships, business, you know what I mean? But if I were to generally just remove something that can be applied to like almost every aspect of life while we're breathing, is it's a combination of acceptance with intentionality of what doesn't need to be accepted. Accepting what has to be accepted, but being intentional with what doesn't have to be accepted.
Right.
With the areas that I can control in my life. And then allowing that to flow into every different vessel, whether it be your empathy and how you emotionally engage and develop relationships with people, and being accepting of their faults and flaws based off our perception, you know, because that's usually what gets us in trouble, is our perceived flaws, irritations of others, and then having a short fuse, a short temper, and damaging the relationship. And then you go into business, it's like, what do you have to accept and what don't you have to accept? So I think you could boil that all into from you know, my very beginning stages of like, learned things are only good when applied consistently over time. So it's like, you got to be very careful. I feel like myself, it's like we consume so much information, but how much is actually being utilized? It's like, it'd be like getting a bunch of ammunition and then going
kinetic
to war.
energy.
Yeah,
just stored energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing being utilized.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say that's the biggest thing that's developed over time, is like, can I take a breath, analyze what's currently transpiring? Do I have to accept it? Do I not have to accept it? And if I do have to accept it, how do I accept it with the best attitude and look for an opportunity to grow from this? If I don't have to accept it, what's the needed routine, habit, or, you know, actions that need to happen to generate the best possible outcome? So that's probably the biggest thing for me, because that can go to everything. How you talk to your mom, you know, how you deal with, you know, the person that upsets you at work, how you deal with someone that steals from you, you know, how I don't know, just every aspect. It's like, how do I deal with all of these things? So that would be the biggest thing for me. Yeah.
And it's cool because that, you know, that changes over time too. Yeah. That's always evolving as well.
Absolutely.
You know, the longer that you're here and the longer that you're doing what you're doing, it's always changing.
I notice everything pretty much points back to like love, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to take it a step even deeper than accept what you can't or you must, and then obviously what you don't have to accept, do what you can. But it even goes to like, well, if you love yourself and you love others, you're going to accept what, you know, what has to be accepted, and then what doesn't have to be accepted. It's because you love yourself and love others that you're seeking the best for yourself and for others. So it all, it's one thing to know it and say it, but it's another thing when someone pisses you off. How can you operate now from love?
Yeah,
opposed
when
to
there's it's easy, like what you just said. It's easy to say it, but when there's emotion involved.
Yes, like when I'm pissed off and you hurt me, like how do I respond? Not like these kids that have attacked me for the last year over at FFL. It's like they've texted me a few times, 2 or 3 times, like emotionally upset, going through, one of them went through a breakup or something like that, and you know, and we're huge on loyalty, and these kids, you know, they were terminated and made some bad decisions and went to another company and took a bunch of people, and it's like, you know, I responded with Bible verses and encouragement, because I'm like, this kid doesn't know, you know, any better. He's something hurting inside for these people to want to hurt me. So it's like, how do I respond where it's like, this really hurts, but let me just go step deeper into love. And just practice this.
Yeah, that's huge that you said that, because, you know, one of my favorite, well, not even one of my favorite sayings, but like one of the sayings that I heard that struck me was, hurt people. Yeah. You know, like if I do something to you, that's why I'm a firm believer, like if it, you know, as cliche as it sounds, like spread kindness, spread love and everything, because it just ripples out into the world. But it's true. Like if I piss you off, you know, and let's say you're not emotionally developed or whatever, and then you go piss someone else off, they go piss someone else off, and then you just have this wave of just people hurting people, hurt people. But if you can love an individual and, you know, then it's the same thing. It's the same ripple effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and it's in the moment when you're upset or when you're in pain, it's hard to do that, because you want to hurt the people that hurt you. Yeah. Or, you know, but when you respond to that, you're putting that out into the world, and it does come back. It does, you know.
Yeah, and Proverbs helps. There's a Proverbs. I think it's 16:8. It might be in there a few times, and it's just like basically God saying, like, just love, feed, and water your enemies. I look at that as like we can kind of break down philosophically feeding and watering is like nourishing,
right?
And not just on a physical level of let me get them like bread and water, but like let me speak to them in a nourishing way. Let me act to them, and then it says, and I feel like you got to be careful with like I'm doing this because the following up part of that verse is, and God will heap burning coals on her head. So it's like I feel like you got to like make sure your heart isn't like I can't wait for you to get burned by God,
right?
You know what I mean, or by the universe, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like more so I'm just gonna do this. Whatever happens,
right? I'm
just gonna do this out of love for you, and I'll let the universe handle your justice.
Yeah, and sometimes people will act out of kindness for themselves. Yeah. Like it's like, okay, I'm going to be kind to you for me. But if you're doing it for like truly like with the
that's
intention
why I like to state mine. Like I like to tell people what I'm like, because I think we lie by not, because it's not our faults. It's how we're developed, and it's how we stay alive. Is the ego is there to make sure you stay alive. That confidence is there to make sure that you go out and you conquer and you feed yourself and you build a life for yourself. So it's finding that balance, because you have to accept that if we all have egos that are inevitably there, we can only basically submerge that so low, where it's like, okay, well, we're wired to take, so it's like if we know that everybody in their mind before we engage with them wants something, I think the easiest way to diffuse that and just like have a loving relationship is just state what it is that you want from this relationship.
Right.
Like I like to just tell people right off rip, here's what I want.
Right.
Here's what I expect. That way you don't feel like I'm ingenuine when it's like, this is what I expect. What do you want from me? And then if we have a symbiotic relationship where you agree and I agree, we're good to go. But if you're like, I feel like if people I feel like it's like the cheesy dudes that lie to these girls for their hookup game, where it's like, I love you right off rip. Right. You know what I mean? Let's get married and shit like that. And that's their pickup game, to just hook up with the girl.
Right.
And then they ghost her. I'm like, that's not my game. Right. I'll tell her, like, I do not want to talk. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for a relationship. I don't want to talk. Like, we can go out and see where it goes, but I just letting you know right now, I'm not looking. You know what I mean? That's how I've done business.
And it's better it's so much better to do that up front than to try to repair on the back. Like it's like,
I just don't know how people can live life that when it comes to business, when it comes to relationships, whether you're dealing with family, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, what it's like, why can't? It's going to come out eventually.
Right.
Why don't we just start, like, that's how I do my presentation. It's like, we're going to do 2 or 3 things today. We're going to go over your life insurance.
Right.
We're going to go over some benefits. We're going to go over options for you to make a purchase today, and it's going to cost you money.
Right.
And if
that
doesn't make sense, then I'm out.
That's what you asked me early on in this podcast, like aside from like the callers and stuff like that. My appointments are so short, like unbelievably short. Like I'm showing options in 10-15 minutes.
You have to.
Like insanely quick.
People have their mind made up in the first minute. People don't realize, and then it's just your job to kind of guide and sort through and kind of enlighten them. But they're people within the first minute, you've either sold it. You can kind of tell. You know what I mean? With any relationship or engaging with someone, you can tell in the first minute if they're bought into you. Yeah. And if they're gonna pretty much make a decision.
And that's tell. And then it's interesting because how long is that encounter or that relationship? How long is it gonna last? But like it's sometimes people come into your life for only a short amount of time. You only talk to one person once and you'll never see them again. Or you meet one person and you know them the rest of your life.
Yeah, facts.
And the level of impact is more than you could have ever imagined. Like that's like how when I met Simon, like no way in hell did I ever think that one conversation was going to lead to everything that I've experienced and everything that I've learned throughout my time here. Like I don't view this as a career. I don't view this as a job. Like it's a life. Like it's my life, And at first, like I was attracted to the money. It was, young people making a bunch of money, but the amount that I've learned through this experience is more than I ever could have imagined.
Have you had a favorite book this year?
Nothing that comes to mind this year.
I just finished this book, and there's a cool app you should check out. It's called Blinkist, and it has paraphrased like 2 chapter, like a 2 paragraph
summary,
and it's really like valuable because most people don't realize when you listen to billionaires talk about reading books, most of them talk about how they skim through books because only 20% of the book actually has valuable information because again, we're all ego-centered individuals. So the author, 80% of it is just him speaking to be heard.
Right.
You know what I mean? Opposed to speaking to add value.
So it pools the 20%.
Yes, it pulls out what you pretty much need. I like to listen, read, and then I've been going through Blinkist too, just to kind of cross areas. But I honestly do not physically read the books that I feel like aren't absolutely applicable to my life right now. You
what's
know what I mean?
the
like
most?
leadership.
What's the most overall most applicable, influential book that you've read?
I like to keep it simple, and I think and Grow Rich because it's such a foundational book of like, everything starts at the point of origin is your mind, your thoughts, and that will, as we can see, that will either kill somebody or make somebody. And I really don't think there's an in between because your mind is a garden, and there really is no like mediocre garden. There's growing gardens and dying gardens.
Right.
So that's where I think that's a book where it's simplified enough for people to have that concept where there's always a book and you never know when it's going to happen, but you don't feel like you're reading it. You feel like it's reading you. And you almost in a weird way, I don't know. It's almost like it's like making love to your mind. Yeah. You know what I mean? It does not feel like reading. You feel enchanted. You're like, and that was the experience I had with that book. I had the same experience when I was 18. I think I read Think and Grow Rich at 19 or 20, but I read The Secret, which is like a child version of Think and Grow Rich. If I were to like dumb it down, and the same deal, just like overly enchanted. Of like, oh my God, this is what I needed that was hidden from me, you know. And so I think you don't know when it's going to happen, but I think there's articles and sayings and things that are just they enchant you. You know what I mean? I think that's why people love sharing quotes, is because it's not for somebody else out there. It's because they were enchanted by it and it spoke to them, and they just it's fishing to see, will somebody have the same you know recognition and experience that I did, and if so, then they're going to be blessed. Yeah. I read this book called Predictably Irrational a couple of weeks ago, and it is fire. And I wanted to share one of these stuck out to me the most. You
read it through the app where it summarizes?
So I read it audibly. I did audio in the background, and then I did through the Blinkist. People's responses to your requests depend on whether they fall. I think that's cool. It's all cool, but like one of these chapters explains why people's responses to your requests depend on whether they fall under social or market norms. So people will basically respond based off of how they classify or identify whatever action or request you've made. If it falls under like a family type of action or something, and they
like almost like a perception.
If they perceive it as like a family gesture, and that would go under the social norm, then they're more patient. But if it's a market norm, like business perception, they want something
it's more analytical.
Yes.
More,
People are prone to dishonesty. But when faced with prior to the analogy in this chapter was like prior to taking a test, teachers will sometimes like remind you to be honest. When you remind somebody prior to you seeking honesty, like the 10 Commandments or something in reference to, like, not telling them to be honest to, make you sound condescending, but more so of reminding them of something that
the
many people
of
can
honesty.
relate to. Then like 100% of the time after that, people are either way more honest or they're pretty much 100% honest. Right. So I thought that was really cool.
It's like when you go into like a court hearing and they, you swear to be honest. And, like that. Like, like a reminder.
Yes, exactly like that. We overvalue what we own. That was a really cool chapter. And because I took that as not just like a physical possession, not just a monetary possession, but more so of whatever we perceive is ours, we overvalue. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like getting into a relationship, and sometimes if there's red flags, because it's our relationship, we place it on such a high value that we disregard anything psychologically that would rationalize this not being a wise decision.
Right.
And that just goes for anything. That would be like you driving so fast, and it's like, I'm not going to rationalize maybe I should drive slower. It's like I'm overvaluing not only what is it that I own, but I own this experience.
Right.
So it breaks down to even deeper, like, people,
it's not even physical.
They overvalue the experience that they perceive as them possessing as well.
Right.
Which I thought that was a really, really dope chapter. This was a great book. I think a lot of people, and I got it from, I like to look up people that I really admire. I just like to look up if they have any YouTube clips, or because really rich people sometimes will have like what their top 10 favorite books are.
Yeah.
And I've gotten one or two from, Jeff Bezos. He had Invent and Wander by Bezos, and it's like a documentary of like him going in and journaling, and it was a phenomenal book, and it really helped expand my perspective. And then Elon Musk, he had an artificial intelligence books that I was able to, superintelligence, I was able to kind of, I went through it audibly, but I was able to pull a few things out and help to expand my mind. And and it was more so, I don't read the top 10 books of people that I admire to learn something from them, learn something from the book. I do it to, I want to learn them.
Right.
What did they do to become a multi-billionaire?
Right.
So it's like, how can I learn? Because I feel like books is a way that it's like an art for me. It's like, how can I, like, I asked Joey what his top 10 books are. I like to ask you if there's any updated books that you have. And it's like, because I want to know, that's like, when I ask people questions, it's more so I want to know how, like, I like doing this because I want to know how you think, to see if there's anything I can do to adjust my thinking, so I can have either a better fulfillment from my present day life, or I can work towards a future value fulfillment of a future day life. And so that's why it's like, I like to know, like, it's weird, but I like to, like, one of my go-to questions, like, what are your favorite movies?
Yeah.
Because I want to know, like, how do you think?
Do you have any favorite, like, documentaries? Do you watch any documentaries?
Yeah. The documentaries that I like are that they're, biography documentaries. So it would be on, like, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. Those would be my go-to documentaries. The only other documentaries I'd like would be like animal. I'm not like a history documentary,
or like anything like that. Yeah,
like the drugs or foods, because I don't necessarily trust. Like, depending on who would produce it, I would want to, like, vet, like, the resources, because the more, especially experiencing, how COVID was treating in our country, where it's like it's hard to, like, vet the resources of, like, what's really true.
Right.
Like, so it's like when I see, like, vegan's the best way to go, or then you got Liver
There's
King.
a saturation of just information, like, so an oversaturation of,
and you don't know who's honest, because it's like I'd rather vet somebody that I met in person that shared information with me, and I knew based off of just an hour long with them what their values were. I would more so trust their information opposed to some producer on the screen that I don't know what their values are.
Right.
So I like to vet people's credibility based off of me getting to physically experience your values.
Yeah.
Like, a homeless person walked by and you just said something foul about them and like looked at them as something less than you.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if I want to listen to your vegan project. You don't even respect human beings.
There's because we're talking about this, there's this quote that I saw a long time ago that I really liked, and it said, people may be well-intentioned but offer advice that might not fit your particular situation. A person's opinion of what is best for you is typically based on them. Their view their view is influenced by their life experiences, history, and personality. What might work for someone else might not work for you. So, like, my advice to you is based off of everything that I've experienced in my life, and and no one's the same.
It's the ego,
right?
It's so hard to separate from. I think it's almost impossible to separate from, because I used to argue with my ex about empathy, and I was like, empathy does not like, the definition says to emotionally understand what another individual has got. So how does that make sense?
Right.
How could I ever feel what you're feeling?
Right.
I could tell you what I feel that's similar to what you've gone through in that situation, but I could never say I know exactly what you don't know. Yeah. That's why I try to tell people, I'm like, somebody's bad grade might be equal to, like, they got a bad grade on a report. It might be equal to the death that you just experienced. You have no idea how their mind's wired.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds horrible, but I tell people, like, you have to allow people to experience their emotions.
Right. 100%.
In their emotions,
Yeah.
not based off of what you experienced because you went through.
And you can't.
That.
You can't. Also, a couple things. You can't compare like your problems to someone else's problems.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like.
And it's an easy way we try to help people. It's like somebody else went through, and I do it, but I also tell people, just like I state my intentions. I tell them, I'm like, listen, I know this isn't going to make it feel any better, nor is it going to help you, or would it help me? But I do know, to try to encourage them, I do know that other people have gone through similar things, and if we know they've gone through it, I know you can go through it. But I know this is not going to help your emotional state right now.
Right.
Anytime I am about to compare a situation to somebody to try to help encourage them, I try to preface with, I know this.
Yeah,
I know this is not going to help.
Yeah.
You know, but I want to encourage you that we can get through it. I just don't know how long it's going to take.
Right.
And what you're going to feel. I think that's crucial though, because I think a lot of people just jump right into somebody else went through it. Suck it up. You know what I mean? Which you got to be careful. And it goes both ways, because even highs too. Like when you have an ultimate high in life from making a bunch of money, you make a big paycheck, you get an awesome car. It's like, is the same way we perceive on how people are, you know, going through their negatives is the same thing with positives. Is I can't empathize with how you feel off of your best day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And someone's best day could be completely different than yours. Like it's, you know,
somebody out there like hasn't had water in a couple of days.
Right.
And their best day would be like getting water, and like some billionaire, their best day, you know, is like, oh, I made $2 billion.
Right. Right. It's interesting. There's so many different aspects of life and just, you know, just experiences that it's crazy. It's nuts. And, you know, the longer that you live, the more that you learn.
Yeah.
And feel it.
Facts. I wanted to share the sleeve idea. So let's see here. It is, I got King Arthur. I'm going to get it on the left arm. I'm going to everything's symbolic too. King Arthur, I always reference him and try to compare him to my leadership style for the reference of the round table philosophy of just, and Joey does really well with that. I feel like it's just like everybody eats, you know what I mean? Just kind of having that, like, we're all the king.
We're all together.
Yeah.
I remember you'd always talk
that.
about like a open door policy, and not even an open door policy, but like
my door's closed.
like glass walls. Like we're all like we're all just one entity.
Yeah, that's the best way to run it. I never really like saying like, you know, my employees or things. I'll say my leaders and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's a partnership. When you look at how any business is structured, if somebody's, you know, I think of it this way. That's why it's like I don't know how people don't give back to their people if they're a leader or a business owner, is because the very individuals that you're classifying, you know, obviously it's your employees, but these are the people that if they disappear, do you have a business set up that you're still going to exist without them?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why it's like I like to feed those who are feeding me.
Right.
When sometimes people feel like get into leadership, and they're great leaders, but I still feel like there's a piece missing, because all these people are feeding you, and it's like you're not doing anything wrong to them, but it's like I feel like at the same time you are if you're not feeding them back to it. You don't have to overdo it, but I think underdoing it would be worse.
Detrimental,
it would be worse than overdoing it.
Yeah.
I think it says Wolverine on here. Might need to double check and see what the hell I was thinking for that.
Wolverine.
Psalm 91:5-7. That's a great psalm.
Yeah.
Do you know that one?
Huh.
So I'll read the exact one because I actually forgot it.
Because you forgot.
I was going to just be like, so I'll actually really read the exact. I know I'm going to see it and be like, yes, that's exactly why I was going to get this. Yep, here we go. Do not be afraid of the terrors. I got it up there, I think. Oh, no, I don't. Do not be afraid of the terrors of the night, nor the arrow that flies in the day. Do not dread the disease that stalks in the darkness, nor the disaster that strikes at midday. This is my favorite part. Though 1,000 fall at your side, though 10,000 are dying around you, these evils will not touch you.
Yeah.
Fire. I want to get my Arkansas area code.
What was your first tattoo? And how old were you?
15, and Jeremiah 29:11 on my chest here from Jesse Krydick, and he's like famous now. He's a famous tattooer. I'm gonna get Nebraska's area code too, bro. I'm gonna get 501-412-402 because those are and probably Chicago.
Yeah.
Because those are all the area codes that really impacted me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they like had a huge piece of me. So
should get
like
Tallahassee or zip code on.
Tallahassee. I want to get Achilles.
Get a Memphis zip code on there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So more so like the movie, like the character. So definitely get Achilles. That was a huge movie for me, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Anakin Skywalker, absolutely have to get him. I definitely resonate with that. You know what I mean? Sometimes on the verge of going evil, you know, but got it. Just a good reminder, you know. Don't want to get my legs cut off. Say When. That's one of my favorite movies. Tombstone. The Say When moment.
It's cool. All these, you know, as you're going through this, all these little things that have so much meaning.
Yes, and the thing is that I think anybody in sales is definitely gonna seek out meaningful I think everybody seeks out meaningful even when they're like there's no meaning. I think there's something there. There's something subliminally there that just registered and clicked with you. It's like, I like that. You know what I mean? So it's like definitely though for me, I like it to be my art. You know what I mean? It's something that resonates with me. Mm-hmm. You know, and that I want to piece it together and do that. I know I'm gonna get my logo. I got Simon's logo on me. 2012, like years ago, before I even knew we were gonna partner. Yeah, and get my logo on me somewhere. You know, I don't know about doing my name. Sometimes I think about it, but I'm like, I don't really care. You know,
your own name as a tattoo.
Yeah, sometimes it's like an alpha thing to do. Look at my name. You know, what's that? My name.
TD.
Yeah, so I don't know. What did you have any future tattoos?
I gotta think about it. I really this one is one of my favorites, but I don't know. I gotta
just get a neck tattoo.
I don't know. I gotta come across something that just like really. All my tattoos have an insane amount of meaning towards them, like like just life-changing moments, or just like really hit home with me. Yeah. Like I couldn't get a tattoo of just like a koala bear on me or something. Like I get like
I was literally thinking of koala bear. I was thinking of getting a tattoo of Brennan. Imagine getting a tattoo of Brennan Tarani. Just like in like gorilla pose.
Where would you get it?
Okay, just like a huge one on, just
on your
a
chest.
Huge Brennan Tarani on your chest. Just like in gorilla pose.
They're like,
or like on your back, just like gorilla style.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
That's funny. But
dude, I'm excited for the city tonight. We're gonna do a fashion show.
That'll
I want to go. You've probably been on the city scooters. My boy just showed me them. They're so fucking
You
fun.
mean like the like the bird scooters?
The divvies?
The electric scooters that they just have like laying around. You want to talk how you asked me about homeless people in LA? If you go to LA, well, this is when the scooters came out because now they have them organized over there. Yeah. And like it's you know, but when the first time I went out to LA was in 2017, and it was January, and that spring I feel like those scooters came out, and that's where they like first started. That's like where they first tested them was in Southern California. Yeah. They were everywhere. Like everywhere, laying everywhere. Like people would like throw them off bridges, like down, like put them in dumpsters, and like they were everywhere. So it's just, I don't know. It's funny that you said that, but
dude, Chicago is a big ass city. And I got Joe Rogan tickets. I'm gonna take Dalton. He's one of our top producers. I'm gonna take him August 6th.
That'll be good.
That'll be fun. And I've been there. It's Chicago theater. I just keep thinking, I'm like, I hope to God it doesn't get shot up. That's the only thing I think about. Like now when I like, they can't have a gun here or something. Right. I just hope no one shoots this shit up. Yeah. Just please don't shoot this shit up, dude. But I know I would kill him. My bare hands. But what else was I thinking? We're going to knock out this fashion show, shit like that.
Probably get some good breakfast.
The plaid.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll get some breakfast tomorrow. The plaid, the Tesla plaid. You in Brody's new Tesla. That shit's fast, right?
Oh, yeah. I was just.
What was the feeling? Is it like, you know how you get stuck when shit goes fast?
Hold on. Before the Tesla, like just Brody's cars in general, like it's cool because from knowing Brody so long, I've got to drive so many different types of cars. But that Tesla, it's unreal. Like it goes so fast. But what did that have in relation to the?
I wanted to think on things I wanted to just touch on before.
Oh,
we're a little.
I thought you were talking like what we were gonna do in Chicago. I was like, what is? Do you have a plaid?
No. I was thinking of Brody's plaid, and I was like, dude, that shit looked. I was wondering what the feeling's like.
Yeah,
I remember
it's crazy.
It's like you get locked in. Sometimes that G force or whatever.
It's nuts.
That G string force put you straight up.
Yep. But no, I mean,
have you eaten at you've had to at Maple and Ash?
Yeah. We went there. We were all there. I think no, you weren't there, but we all went.
You guys all went without me, probably.
Yeah, I think it was one night.
That's an expensive place to eat.
It's good.
They always whack you.
When Brody and I went out to open up the office in Nebraska, on our way back for Katie's birthday when we were in Chicago, that's where we ate.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna start getting like Bulls tickets and shit like that.
That'd be sick.
We continue to grow and expand.
Has the city grown on you? Like, do you like Chicago now?
Only because literally every time I go down there, I meet somebody like cool.
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't know how people aren't doing. Like we should be doing $1 million a week, like within the next few years. Just,
right.
I've got a lot of good networks and connects in place, and it's really just kind of like I'd rather take care of the relationship and have a good long-term healthy relationship opposed to like extract a lot just immediately.
Right.
And it's gonna be. I've already done the math on getting to $1 billion, and it's only 3.5% of the metropolitan area of Chicago. Working and selling insurance with me. So, which I don't feel like is too aggressive, and I could get 2% from Chicago, and get another 1.5% from the nation. So
yeah,
something I really look forward to doing, and I'm debating on setting up an apartment down there, probably within the next year or so, just to like spend a couple weekends a month or something.
Accessible.
Yeah, because I don't like the driving down there. You know what I mean? Like the whatever. But there's a lot of like I really got plugged in. Like we're like 2 years into our friendship now, Landon, and he runs a podcast in their 20s. And he interviewed Steve Wozniak.
Yeah.
His network's insane.
Yeah.
He's close with the mayor of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's our age. So it's like, and he's a genuine good dude.
Right.
And so really I just had to stay plugged in with him and just Chicago's the number 2 city to live.
I was gonna say that
I
saw you posted that where Chicago is in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's number 2 city to live in the world right now, and it's the number 8 for startups and tech.
Yeah,
and just that alone, it helps me think so much bigger because I'm meeting people our age, making as much money as like Simon and like Rick Alton.
And it's not like when we were in like Nebraska or anywhere where like we were the ones making the most money.
Like this, and I love that because it's like I can just kind of be a fly on the wall and it gives me different perspective on like there's a lot of ways to make a lot of money, But I think the biggest thing is just you're gonna make the most money where you're the most passionate,
right?
And people get the passionate confused on like them loving the process. People don't realize nobody necessarily loves the process of you're passionate about the idea of a result. You know what I mean? It's kind of like this passion people have for their physical figures. It's you don't just think about all the workouts you're going to do. You think about the end result of what you're going to be sculpting and producing. Like nobody. So it's like people are like, well, I don't love what I do. No one loves what they do.
Right.
Dude. It's you love what comes from what you do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's why you have to reverse psychology yourself into, man, I love this shit.
It's the other, like what I've noticed is, a lot of things in life are backwards. Like this, like when I thought when I first started in this business, I thought it was just the money. Like it was, I was so attracted to the money. And now, like I said, the amount that I've learned and everything, that's the real thing that has come from all this. And what we were talking about earlier, we sell life insurance, but this, what are you doing?
You just hear my heartbeat.
But this business has like brought so much impact to people. Like think about just like forget all the money, just, the amount of impact that has happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You remember when I first met you and we went out to a movie and I brought an eye mask to the movie theater And you were like, what the fuck?
I was so pissed. I remember taking you out in the field, and just every time you'd go to talk, and I'd be like, yep. Turn up the book.
John Maxwell, yep, leadership number 5.
Care about your people. I turn that bitch up.
Care versus candor.
And then I remember, and then I sometimes I'd make you follow me because I didn't want you in the car. And I would purposefully, I don't know what was wrong with me. I'd like try to lose you.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah,
but I would stay.
Let's see if he can drive, and I'd like last second merge into an exit, and you would be. I swear to God, I thought you were gonna die this one time. You were like, I was like, holy shit!
We were going down to West Virginia. I remember that.
Yeah, that was the first Acura.
Yeah, that was
that
was my first car.
Yeah, that shit was. You like broke your axle, and like
next week you had a new car. Yeah. I was going down a hill, and it was the winter. And
by the office, right?
Yeah, it was by the Starbucks in Wexford.
Like, oh!
No, that I didn't break I almost ran into the pole
by the fish school.
But how I broke my axle was I was sliding down into an intersection, so I just started turning my wheel left, and I just like with both wheels just hit this massive curve, and then when I was driving, it was like it's like, yeah, that's not good.
And your dad's like, Sam. we were down in fucking Siesta Key, and I was hanging out the window. He was like, get that motherfucker in the car.
Yeah, that was a wild time.
You have to block my dad on Instagram.
Block him on Snapchat,
dude. Miami when you got the Urus.
Oh my god!
And we go in the garage and you're like, where's our car? And they're like, yeah, we had to move it. There was a shooting in here last night.
And but they were in the car, which was weird. That was a wild trip. That was
wild.
That was a lot of fun. That was my 20th.
That was your 21st.
22nd.
What club did we go to?
11.
Dude, we paid $700 each.
Yeah, because
Post Malone was supposed to come.
I think
it was $330 before we left. He never came.
Yeah, the cover charge, because we had a lot of people there. Who else? We had multiple people there, but I remember the cover charge was $150.
Donnie, Olivia, and what else? Dude? And then John and Rob had to ride scooters. They were too young. They just rode scooters all night. They were 20 or
19 or something, but that was a wild trip.
That was wild. That was good.
Yeah. But
yep.
Do you do a plug on?
Nah, he doesn't even pay attention. But if Logan Paul ever saw this, I'd blow up. Drink Prime. This is his brand. Prime. Marketing
Do you do
hack.
that? Do you do it on every podcast?
This is the first one.
I remember before Aiden tried picking it up and he moved it, and you're like, "Wait, put that down. It's gonna be this."
Aiden, it's the future of my company. Yeah, he's gonna, one day find it. Dude, you saw somebody won $1.2 billion in Illinois?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know it happened. Did they?
Yeah, somebody won 1.2.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, taxes are probably gonna take at least 50%.
They'll probably get like a 500 million.
500, and it'll probably be gone in 10 years.
It's funny that you're saying this. I watched a documentary on lottery
80%.
Winners. Yeah.
80%, right?
Yeah, they lose it.
It's insane.
It's gone.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, guess we're gonna head down to the city here soon and check on where Connor's at. I can't think of.
He just texted me.
Anything else?
But no, I think this is a good podcast. It was good.
Brody, I gotta get him to come out and get on here.
Yeah, for sure, Brody.
Because his family tree in this business I was talking about, I was like, dude, you do like $500,000 a week, like on a good week,
right?
Like off of his legacy.
It's funny now because when I first started, I remember Brody's deal. We used to in the office in Pittsburgh.
He's like 10x'd over the last 4 or 5 years. Because when I started, he was doing like $50,000 a week.
Well, when we have an agency meeting, the whole room is his team.
Yeah.
Like the whole office. The whole room. Yeah, we have.
There's nobody else there now. It's like you guys.
We legitimately have probably 98% of the office.
Yeah.
Brody's team, 98%.
It's insane. Bless you, Aiden.
Yeah, but it's cool to just see growth. It's cool to, just the time that's passed.
I would say like next to Simon, Brody has been the best leader in my life.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I know.
And at the same time, I've never seen him mad. Or like
I've seen him mad twice.
Or angry.
Once was in Chicago.
Yeah.
it was when we were here for Katie's birthday, and he had a truck, and we were going down into this like ultra subterranean like car garage, and the roof was gonna. He was like, if my truck hits the roof of this garage, we're going home, and he was like super pissed, and I was like, I ain't never seen Brody like this, but. Yeah, no, that's how I think that's how we ended the last podcast. Was we were just talking about Brody, and he's like we said last time.
I always try to do it because I remember the first time I like got to do like a speaking fucking thing.
Yeah,
I like forgot to like say
to talk about Brody.
Yeah, like forever haunts me because the dude has done like the most for me in my entire life. You know what I mean? So
he's just all around, just like one of the best people
funniest,
I know.
Down to earth. Yeah. He doesn't like force and try anything too hard. It's just he just shows up and does.
He does it the right way, 100%.
Yep,
100%. Yeah, so, but yeah.
And Chad too. Chad is a dope dude. Shout out to Wheel Connection. That's a sponsor I can have.
Yeah.
Wheel Connection. They just sponsored this. Chad told me. Chad would shout us out though. And he's so dope and down to earth too. He's always made me feel like a successful man. Yeah. Even when I was 18, 19 years old, Chad always made me feel fucking like a good dude. You know what I mean? Like always spoke to me like eye to eye. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Where it's like very easy for a millionaire dude in his late 30s to be like speak down to you like, come here, son. Yeah. He never son me, boy me, or anything. So it's like. It's just and their dad too, bro. Dope family.
Yeah, it's cool within this agency. Just how many good people there are.
Yeah. Yep. Just a few. Me, Brody.
Yeah, just one or two.
But yeah. So you were watching Hellboy and eating Nutter Butters. It looks like.
I was having some great food while you were sleeping. I got a picture of it.
Yeah, I did take a nap. For this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah. I got to show you this picture I got up there behind the flag. It'll be funny. I wish I could show it in the podcast, but
there's a picture behind the flag.
Yeah, it's going to be hilarious, but I can't think of anything else. This was dope. So shout out. And you want to shout out anything, anybody? Shout out your Instagram, Marzula.
No, I think it's just
Marzula.
The last time we had this, it was 8-9 months ago, and
we got to do it like every 8 to 12 months.
Yeah.
Like
and end of this year.
Yeah, annual thing. We should just do them every January.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
We'll just do one in January, right when you get back from
Thailand.
Or we'll probably have to do it because January will be a push month. We'll probably have to do it in February.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll do it every February because that's always a low month.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. Dope. Yeah. Well, time to head out to some adventures.
Let's do it.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right.